Crowder, his second touchdown on the season. And the Redskins find a way to stretch their lead.
I think if you polled defensive backs, they would say the corner route, take that out, make it illegal, because that is so hard to recognize and so hard to adjust, because your first move is to not get beat in the middle of the field, and that's how they move you first before they break off to the corner.
But then as the wide receiver, great job. It's tough to turn those upfield and go, but he did a great job with it there.
Really good balance, really good body control, and how about the end result? A touchdown.
Now Aaron Rodgers and the offense heading back onto the field. And he had to be pleased at the start of the last drive. The offense was moving, but certainly not pleased at the end result, an interception.
And every team we ever talk to, at some point in the conversation, the coach, player, someone talks about, you know, we've got to finish. We've got to finish off drives, finish off the game. There's an example there of not finishing, doing everything right, but not getting the result that you need.
They'll run with a backup. This is Williams. Oh, good footwork on the spin. Space to maneuver at the 40. And finally, down at the 41-yard line. 16 yards right off the bat and a first down.
I have to admit, I'm excited by that play call and the end result, because this is a team that's down big early in the first quarter, and a lot of teams will just panic, abandon the playbook, and just start firing the ball all over the place. It's way too early for that. Stick to what works for you.
Down double digits, and we talked about their game plan being both running and passing there. You're right. They're sticking to the game plan, getting the ground game going.
A lot of football left to be played.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post, because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. Following the penalty, Montgomery. Tackle made there by Zach Brown. Now, look, that wasn't a huge gain, but those are the types of carries I think they were missing in their loss last week. They couldn't get him going on the ground.
Did you get the same feeling I did during our meetings, that they kind of regretted that he didn't touch the ball?
Absolutely.
You know, hey, he should have touched it more last week. They weren't going to make that same mistake, and they've taken care of that early.
Trying to get it to Cobb, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 24. And now off to the races down the right side. And he will score. Touchdown, Washington.
Partner, what we just saw, that's a great example of a team that was really amped up. They've been playing so well, yet they didn't get overexcited and have a bust on defense and gave up a big play. Instead, they created their own big play with a pick six. This one may be over.
Yeah, it's just the first half, but that lead has swelled to the point where you're wondering if it is over already. So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Packer offense now ready to get back onto the field. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
319! 319!
On second down, Montgomery hit, and the ball is loose. And the Redskins scoop it. And they have the football and will take over at the 24-yard line. Often on fumbles, you look at the guy who coughed it up and say, geez, what did he do? But, hey, let's tip the cap to the defense here.
Not a problem at all, my man. I'm not even going to tip it. I'm going to doff my cap to him. Congratulations. Big-time play. Knocking it free and creating something good for your team.
And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. Josh Jones in on the stop. Charles, they won last week despite him not running the ball well. They told us need to get him going. Runs like that help.
And they talked to us about leaning on him because, as you noted, last week they didn't have to. Still won the ball game. They leaned on other people.
And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. Chris Thompson with 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game. And the Redskins are going to add on to their lead. And a pair of rushing touchdowns now for him in the first quarter.
And I'm liking what I'm seeing from his big guys up front because they're winning the leverage game. How many times we talk about low man wins, right? Move the defensive front aside, create those gaps and holes. He's found his way through them for 2 touchdowns.
And after both of those touchdowns, he went right up to that O-line and hit each of them on the helmet. He recognizes
That's a smart man. You know what else he should do? If this continues, take them all to dinner.
The Packers offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. Typically down in the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?
Yeah, normally, you know me. I mean, you've been around me for a while now, right? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But normally, I'm the one preaching patience.
Yeah.
You know, take your time, first half, you still got a chance. I think they're out of patience here. This has to be a drive that gets a touchdown. So if you're the play caller, you're going to that portion of the sheet that says big-time plays, specials, anything you can use to get yourself back into it.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 11, he goes down. It's a loss of 4 there, bringing up second down. Good opening quarter for him. Remember, he had the sack earlier. Now a tackle for loss, another tackle for loss.
He's really making it tough on the play caller, though, isn't he? Because it's one thing to try and adjust when the guy's disrupting your running game. But when he's messing up your passing game as well, they may have to devote at least a second guy to him to try and keep him away from their plays. Anytime you decide to use your quarterback as a runner, most of the time when you design a play, you're expected to break a little bit bigger than this one because when you run him on short gains, your risk-reward and him taking hits, I'm not sure that's the payoff they were looking for.
And that is incomplete.
Sometimes it's just not your day. There's another failure right there on 3rd down.
On 4th down, J.K. Scott ready to punt it away. And last week in the loss, 5 punts as he gets this one away. Let's take it inside his own 40. And they can't bring him down. A nice job on the return there, 16 yards. And the Redskins will have a short field here as they take over 1st and 10. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or 2 shy of the 30. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains.
The good old toss play. And this time they go to the left side, so give a lot of credit to the offensive line. Center, guard, tackle, able to seal that side. But the guy that we don't give enough credit to, wide receivers. They have to do a great job of blocking downfield. Otherwise, that play can be spilled in the backfield. In this case, everyone handled their responsibilities, and they picked up really nice yardage. That's another nice run, and I have to tell you, some of the coaches that I played for, their philosophies were always different when they see a guy running the ball well. Some of them wanted to immediately go to play action and throw it now because it's wide open. While other coaches said, you know something? Until they stop him, that big boy is going to keep getting the football. And that might be the direction that they're going to go right now.
So a decent game, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
So following the hold, they're in a bit of a hole here with a 1st and 20.
Hey, you got three down.
A shotgun snap for Love. And an alley to run. He'll get 11 yards back on the scramble as it brings up 2nd down. At the end of one, 28-0 is our score. They've got a 2nd and 9 to start things out. They'll try the air now with Locke. Complete. Richardson has it. And he's brought down just outside of the 10 at the 11. The last catch nearly got him a first, but it did not, and they'll try to convert on 3rd and inches. They'll run it now out of the gun. The gain of 5 that time gives them the conversion and makes it 1st and goal.
We both know it's difficult, but they've made it look effortless out there. Through the air, on the ground, they've moved the ball with relative ease.
Geis, they'll try to run it. And flags come in as he gets forward for about 3 yards. Now let's check on the call.
Holding offense.
So on the big tight end, holding.
Each and every year, we talk about very few tight ends coming into the league that are polished blockers or asked to do it a lot in college. So it's a constant struggle and a constant fight to learn how to do it without holding.
Following the penalty, it's Geis. Fights free at the 5. And all the way to the 2-yard line there before crossing over out of bounds. That'll be a gain of 15 yards. And it'll be 2nd and goal. Lots of praise on this drive, obviously. I know you're seeing what I'm seeing. Those guys up front, they're getting it done.
Doesn't matter what play is called. They are handling their business at the line of scrimmage and dominating right now on this drive.
They'll give it to him up the middle. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Redskins. Chris Thompson on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And this Redskins offense is running away with this one. And this is becoming quite the half he's had here.
Remember in our pregame meetings, they talked about wanting to run the football and staying with it. Well, when you're scoring this many touchdowns, there's no reason to go away from it, is there? They are off to a fantastic start. They hope it continues.
3 already for him. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Now trotting out there, the Packers getting ready to go. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
15 yards is the pickup there, and the drive starting very nicely. 1st down.
Exactly what they needed right there, because they needed to use the ground game to take some pressure off, because the quarterback's been struggling a little bit.
From up near the 40 now after the big play to start. Here's another 1st and 10. 1st down, they run again. Here's Montgomery. He'll get about 3 as he's brought down right around the 42.
They went right back to him, but he pretty much had nowhere to go on that play.
Yeah, the previous carry looked pretty good. That one, maybe he was a little tired. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he should have tapped out and had a second back come in and maybe make that run. Who knows?
319! 319!
Draw play. Rodgers to Montgomery. And he'll take this for about 4 up to the 46-yard line.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice game like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now, because usually...
And now the ball's out. Fumble near midfield. Into the Redskins. How did they do?
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me, because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over. Yet they are humans out there running around, and we just saw another one.
Opportunistic by the defense. And give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6. Good job there keeping him to a short gain. Of course, he's coming off a really terrific performance, reigning NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
And I know people get caught up in, well, if you're the reigning Defensive Player of the Week, you must have made a bunch of spectacular plays. Like, you mixed in a few of those, but most of the plays are just like we saw there. Keep them to short gains, make the fundamental tackle.
Big yardage that time for the Redskins. 44 yards on the ground. So down inside the 5-yard line. I have to say, really just a poor job defensively there.
You're exactly right. As a former defensive back, that was not played well at all. But give credit to the offense and give credit to the guy running the football. He gets it down all the way inside the 5.
It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. We're back to Lambeau following these words. They come up in an offset eye. To throw on second down is Luck. Flushed out right. And he will score. Touchdown, Washington. Andrew Luck with his second touchdown of the game, number 7 on the year. And this Redskins offense continues to pour it on. Extra point good by Hopkins. And the rout is on here in this first half. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This is taken at the 3. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. The Packers offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And last time, not only the turnover, but that turned into 6 points. They got to make up for that here.
We always hear about empty possessions, but some are worse than others. So you can have an empty possession, pump the ball away, get yourself set to play defense. But when you turn it over, it changes momentum. And when they take it downfield and punch it in on you, that's a bad possession all the way around.
Yeah, but you're hungry to get back out there, aren't you?
You better be, because otherwise it's going to be a long day for you.
And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8. And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got a jump here.
Encroachment, defense.
And a movement there coming from the middle of the line.
And you understand he wants to get off the ball quickly, but the ball's right in front of him. He has to watch it move first.
So after the penalty, here's 2nd and 3. Here's Rodgers. This is Cobb with a catch right side. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. Rodgers to Cobb. Good for a Green Bay first. Rodgers now on first down. It's caught outright by Graham. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now you can run anything and catch the ball, as we just saw there.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Rodgers now on first down. And Graham's got it over the middle. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here. As they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. Rodgers now 7 of 10 here in this first half, and he's got a 1st and 10. Rodgers again now. And this will be incomplete.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
Rodgers again here on 2nd and 10. And left side here, it's Graham. That one good for the completion percentage, but no gain. It'll be 3rd down. Here's a 2nd-round pick. Many scouts thought he could have gone higher than that.
And I was one of them. Even though I don't scout for any particular team, I had a first-round grade on him. And frankly, I'm surprised he lasted to the second round. They got a steal with this player.
They added a lot of talent to a roster that really needed an infusion of youth. They got a very good infusion of youth.
And they didn't really reach to get anyone as well. They stuck to their draft philosophy, got the best players they could at the time they were drafting, and inserted them into their lineup.
Now the throw on third down, knocked away and incomplete.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on third down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a fourth down decision.
And Crosby puts it through, and they'll get back 3, but this remains a large deficit. So they do get to 3 points before they hit halftime, something to build on maybe.
Yeah, go ahead and raise the banner, right? Wave the flag. That's good. Got points, and now, as you said, they've got something to build on as they get ready for the second half.
As this unit comes back out there, let's focus in on Darius Geis. He's over 40 yards here in the second quarter. Been nice and effective for them, hasn't he?
He has definitely been dependable, and really shouldn't underestimate what he's getting done here, because anytime you're on a pace that's going to approach 100 yards, you've really done some damage in an NFL game.
And now he's looking just to add to his totals. First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12. So we have come upon halftime, and it's the visiting Redskins who we now proceed to the start of the second half. The Redskins in a good spot. They've got the lead. They will get the football as the second half gets underway. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. So out now come the Redskins. They had a big first half. Now they have a chance to add to that lead here in the opening possession of the second half.
And everyone always asks about halftime adjustments, kind of the key phrase. What did you do at halftime? Well, the way they ran offense in the first half, I think they were very calm, congratulatory, but also what they were saying is don't expect them to be the same on defense. They'll be the ones making the adjustments. Let's see what they do, and we'll attack accordingly.
And we'll see how they attack here.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense, because on a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
Geis showing he's going to be an important part of this Redskin backfield as he's in there again for first down. Back to the ground on first. It's Geis, and able to get a couple as he's across the 40 to the 41.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
They'll run it now out of the gun. It'll be a gain of 5, but still about 3 yards shy of the first down marker, and now it's third down.
Third quarter, and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out. But a running game can really benefit your team right now.
And on third down, a nickel formation here defensively. From the gun, here's Love. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he gets it down to the 48, enough for the first. It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains.
Did you see that route the way that I did? I thought he was trying to get deep.
Yeah, that
first.
wasn't the first option.
No, it came off of that guy, the deep guy, and came underneath on the drag, completed it very well.
So into Packer territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. They'll run it now out of the gun. And that play will go nowhere. Losing yardage back near midfield at the 49. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
The evolution of Clay Matthews as a player, it's just one that they're going to end up writing books about. He didn't even start until his senior year at USC.
And now a fumble. The ball's out. And this is going to be Packer football. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's really a matter of what the offensive.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. On first down. This is Geis. Good move at the 30. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks.
And that's the big fella's MO right there. Running through tackles, keeping the sticks moving forward. In this defense, if you don't bring 11 guys to the ball to try and get him on the ground, he's going to keep making runs like that. I feel the press box shaking every time he touches the rock.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And he'll fight forward maybe to the line of scrimmage, but that's all.
I know the scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
Geis with the carry on second down. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. That'll go as a loss of 5. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long.
Monday. Check out.
Now Luck. The scramble good for a nice gain of 10 yards, but still 4th down.
And they had an extra defensive back on the field on that play, and the coverage was excellent. He tried to pull it down and run for it, but they rallied to him.
Oh, they get to the football. It's blocked. Now it's scooped up, and this is a live football. Well, one of the few things that's gone right for them, likely a little too late, but maybe a little feather in their cap.
I think so, and to me, they played that play without looking at the scoreboard, without worrying about where they were in the score, because things haven't gone right, as you noted, for them much of this game. But they gave great effort there and picked up a defense that's had its share of troubles in this one.
And he'll fight forward to about the 27-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Again, they'll go ground with Montgomery. And not a whole lot doing there as he'll get it up to about the 28-yard line. Deron Payne, the big D tackle there to make the stop.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level, because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these pants make me look fat? And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. Back now at Lambeau. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair. The Packers on 3rd down. 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 7.
319.
Shotgun now for Rodgers. He's going to dump that off to his running back, Montgomery. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. It's a gain of 5 on the play, and that's going to make it 4th down. Instead of throwing it downfield, Charles, they just tried to dump it underneath there. You like the call?
I do. I think it's a high percentage play because you get the completion, and what you're counting on is your back to use his legs and his elusiveness to make people miss and pick up the first down. In this case, it didn't happen.
Out comes the Redskin offense now as they get set to begin another possession. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When you go to the backup, let him get some time.
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. You know, these guys play, and we just play them all the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game. And that's always puzzled me a little bit.
The Redskins on 3rd down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation.
86 to man. Watch it.
Out of the gun, Luck. It's brought in by Jackson. First target, first catch, and a first down. And looking to put this game on ice in the fourth quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy who's in control right now. Their trigger guy, throwing it, they feel just as confident with him doing that as they would if they tried to run the ball and run the clock out.
Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And a short gain down to about the 33. Give him 3 on the play, and that'll lead here to a third down.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
Throwing on third down, low. And he drops this off to Thompson, complete. And he'll be brought down at the 27-yard line. Give him 6 on the play, and that'll bring up fourth down. So out comes the field goal team now for the second time here today. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. So it's Redskin football here as we welcome you back. They've got a fourth down here in a game that looks to have been decided already. So it's 3 more points, and that widens this thing out even further here in the fourth.
And you know in this league, you can never have enough points, but this widens it out, as you said, and now it's all about ball control, isn't it?
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. The Green Bay offense now about ready to take possession here. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward. We've seen this quite a few times in this game. Offensive line unable to keep leverage, unable to keep people away, facing a lot of pressure. Fortunate just to get rid of it.
One of the reasons they're down is that inability, though, to stop the pressure. We saw another example of it there. They call it a gain of 19, and it moves the chains. Offense for them has been at a premium. You wonder where plays like that have been all game long.
They're thinking the exact same thing themselves, but they're also looking forward now because now these plays are really for next week, trying to get some momentum going.
Now Rodgers. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Rodgers now throwing again. They'll set up the screen to Montgomery. And this one's going to go the wrong way. Losing yardage back at the 42. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And that's going to lead to a 3rd and 12.
I thought that wasn't a bad time to call the screen. I thought late game, down on the scoreboard, had to figure they were expecting a pass downfield.
Yeah, so the edge rushers, they're coming. That could have hit big. You're right. Good recognition defensively to snuff that one out. He's going to let it fly. Incomplete. He had his hands on it but couldn't pick it. But it's now 4th down. They have not gotten him going at all. Tried to spark something there with a longer throw, unable to complete it.
But you have to keep trying. He's one of their best playmakers. No matter what it says on the scoreboard, you're always trying to get him the football.
The The Redskins offense now, they get set to take over here. They have the big cushion. Here in the final stages of this one, I don't know if there's any better feeling than being up big on the road.
There really can't be, because for a team to go on the road and win in the NFL, that's huge to begin with. But just think about all the preparation that went into it. When they first started talking about this game, leading up to it during the week, going on the road, unfamiliar city, obviously, unfamiliar hotel. No one's going to be with you once you get to the stadium. They're all going to be against you. You name it. All those things they had to deal with, they were able to conquer them and do it convincingly.
Yeah, they did it very convincingly, and now the final moments of this one. Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feel like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So for Washington, it's an ideal start as they move to 3-0 now on the young season. And they'll head back home next week to take on the Chicago Bears. Meanwhile, for the Packers, the early struggles continue as they'll sink to 0-3. And they'll try to get back on the beam next week as they'll head to Tampa to take on the Bucs. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew here at EA Sports, I'm Brandon Gaudin saying so long, everybody.
If the squad ain't with me, then it ain't right.